I'm at the Storyhouse in Chester, where I'm delighted to be with Eric and Ernie, or otherwise known as Jonty and Ian.
Hiya.
Jonty, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Ian, lovely to meet you. I've just seen the matinee performance of Jonty and Ian's Morecambe Wise show, or Eric and Ernie, and I have to say it exceeded all of my expectations. I had no idea what to expect. Guys, how did this start?
It's all his fault.
It's my fault.
Yes.
Well, bound to be.
Well,
Yeah.
it genuinely is, because Jonty's been doing an impression of Eric since you were a boy, haven't you?
Since I was a very little boy, because my dad was a huge Morecambe Wise fan. We all were, and yeah, my dad used to do impressions of him, and I copied him, and yeah, it's always been in my sort of impressions that I've done, really, Eric.
You do lots of impressions, don't you?
I do a few.
Yes.
You first met at drama school, didn't
Yeah.
you? And you've had a relationship ever since then, and this has developed. So did you have to move into the role of Ernie, or were you Ernie already?
No, never.
Well, I wasn't really Eric, to be honest.
Well, I'm sorry, but you were.
I know.
Well, we met at drama school. You had hair.
Yeah, I did, yeah, sure.
So we met at drama school 30 odd years ago. And we both had acting careers in our own rights, and this came about because we both played golf for the Stage Golfing Society.
Right.
Basically, golf way to work actors. So every
So we
year
played quite a lot.
Yeah, so every year we do a little review, and they asked him to do Eric. He said, "Well, I'll need an Ernie," and he looked across the bar.
And there he was with his little short fat hairy legs, and I thought, perfect.
Yeah, and that's how it came about. We did a 5-minute sketch for our mates at the golf club. Then we left it alone, and 6 years later, they said, "Will you do that thing again?" So this time we did it, and this time we wrote some material, didn't we?
We wrote material in the style of Eric and Ern, but about the audience that we were playing to. We found some info out about them and dropped it in. And we sort of thought, right, just get on, get off.
We rehearsed it in the car park and on the golf
And
course.
on the golf course.
That's how prepared we were. So when we went off, we thought, well, thank God that's over. And they said, come back, come back. We went back in the room, and there was this standing ovation from all our peers, if you like. So that was the start of it. And then they said, look, guy, you've really got to do something with it. So we met a guy who said, what do you want to do? And we said, we'd like to write a play.
And he backed us brilliantly.
He said, I'll back you. And he said, what do you need? And we said, well, money.
And he gave us it.
He gave us the full. So that was the
See,
start.
it can sometimes happen in show business magic.
And that was the start of it. So somebody believed in us, and so we wrote this play. We'd never written anything before.
No.
Either of us, and I hadn't been in the West End, and you hadn't been in the West End.
No.
And suddenly we went to Edinburgh. It just took off in Edinburgh. Ended up doing a tour and ended up in the West End of London.
And now you're touring the country
Yes.
with Eric and Ern.
Yeah.
It started with the play. You were
Yes.
talking with the play. Tell me a little bit about that.
The play's called Eric and Little Ern, and it's basically set in the last day of Ernie's life, which sounds sad, but it's not. It's quite poignant, the first half of the play. And Ernie's, in real time, in real life, had been flown back from America, where he's living with his wife, and put in a private hospital in Nuffield in Wessex. And he passed away that, but we start the play there, and when Ernie's wife had been with him all day, and she got sent home saying, you need to rest, and in that time frame from when she went home, and she rang up and asked how he was, and suddenly they said, you better come in quick, and he passed away with it before she got there. So we used that time frame to explore Eric and Ernie's life, and
It's in his head. It's his last hour of his life, and he's, as you do, go over things in your mind. So that was the vehicle for us to then explore. The doctor, who was Eric, became Eric, and so now we could go back to different places in time and have the conversation that Eric and Ernie might have had. So that was the vehicle we used to explore their relationship, why they worked, why they were funny, how they got on,
how much they loved each other. And and Ernie was lost when Eric died. He was sort of, it was tough for Ernie. But then the second half of the play is basically the hospital bed used to spin and become red tabs, and we had the curtains, and then it was like the front cloth, which is the sort of the beginnings of this show, An Evening of Eric and Ern. So we took the idea from there, and now we've got this new show, which is going great.
It's a really demanding show. I mean, you're on stage for probably 55 minutes per act.
Yeah.
It's the two of you. There's nowhere to hide. You've got a minimal set.
Yes.
And you never step out of character.
No.
How do you manage that?
I tell you, doing the play, all the work we did on the play has informed the performances that we do now. So, and we've got to know.
Is that right?
I believe so. So for the last 5 years, we've been working on this and constantly working on different aspects of Morecambe Wise. We've really got to know them as people. And the other thing that happens is when we do Morecambe Wise, people come up to us and go, I met them in 1968 in a fish and chip shop
Really?
in Bradford, and Ernie was great, and Eric was massive. So they tell us all these stories. So we've got loads and loads of stories, of background stories of what Eric and Ern were like off camera, which is what we were interested in.
A lot of the material that I saw in the matinee today is clearly original material.
Yes.
Do you do your own writing?
Yes.
Yes, we do. But I mean, we sort of, that's how it all began, really. Was we wrote in the style of Eric and Ern. And obviously for the play, we wrote as Eric and Ern off stage. And obviously we now write for them on. But what is great is, I think, is, as Ian said, it's the 5 years that we put into this to achieve where we are now. And it's because we're actors, I think, fundamentally. It's because we're not...
They're portrayals, they're not...
It's not just a quick impression. You know, it's absolutely, we're immersed in it for the time we're on stage. We never step out of character.
But you've got every single mannerism down to a T. And, you know, I was in the audience, I was watching it, and as I said at the beginning, I had no expectations because I didn't know what to expect. But even when I knew what was coming next, I was still laughing because that comic timing is perfect.
Well, it's the love that the British public have for Eric and Ern. It's never left us. You know, I always say they weren't just liked, they were loved. And we feel a bit of that love coming from the audience, you know.
Well, you certainly did today. There was
There's
some
one lady,
of
yes, it's fantastic. But it's funny, it's still funny, isn't it? It was funny. You know, the difference between some comedy now is that they're still funny now.
Yeah,
we're
it
still
holds
funny.
up.
Funny.
It holds
they
up.
know what's coming.
Yeah.
They know what's coming, and they laugh even more.
It makes it better even. I think they get excited when
Well,
they're coming.
it does. I mean, there's the classic line from the Andre Revo.
Andre Preview.
Andrew Preview.
Andrew Preview.
Andrew Revel, I like him.
He's good.
He's very good. He couldn't make it either, could he? No.
But we knew what was coming.
Well, that's it.
But you had the audience in the palm of your hand, and you held them for as long as you wanted to hold them, but the timing of it was split second. It was perfect.
No,
I like
I
him.
like him. I like him. It's very good, isn't it?
Can I come on your next show?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess.
For free.
Well, that was a running theme throughout, wasn't it? Your poor
Our guest singer,
Becky.
Becky.
It's brilliant.
hasn't been paid.
No, of course.
That's the excuse, and nobody's getting
Started off
paid.
with Peter Cushing, yeah. I mean, it was just like checks in the post, on and on and on.
And each time somebody asked for money, it became slightly more amusing until the point where she's embarrassed to ask you, I still haven't been paid.
And the bigger the star they were in Morecambe Wise, because everybody wanted to be on the Morecambe Wise show.
Exactly.
Massive stars.
It made your career.
Yeah.
Glenda Jackson.
Yeah, Angela Rippon.
Absolutely.
I mean, who will ever forget the can-can? I was half hoping that you might have had
Well,
Angela around.
We did ask her.
We did ask her, but she couldn't make it.
But in those days, of course, you never saw a newsreader from behind the
Neck
the
up.
desk.
No, that's right.
The only time you saw the newsreader.
Yeah, they never had
So when
legs.
she did it, it was massive. It was
And they were good legs as well, weren't
very
they?
good legs.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the tour. You're in Chester at the moment. I know you're moving to New Brighton in November.
Yes,
but you've
in
got
November.
another couple of venues.
Yeah, we're off
between.
all over.
We're all over the shop. Where did we go?
Harrogate and
St Albans. St
Newcastle.
Albans, which is very near to where Eric
Yeah.
lived. Obviously, Harpenden, so we're excited about that. Newcastle, Wolverhampton, Chichester. Very posh, going to Chichester, and all over the shop. And we end up with New Brighton at the Wirral, which we're really looking forward to. The best show we had for the play was in Liverpool at the Epstein, wasn't it?
Oh, the Epstein's a lovely
Which was
theatre.
just fantastic.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
I mean, the reaction we got for the second half when we were doing the stand-up in the play was just, it stopped.
Yeah.
There was one woman laughing
So much.
so much. It was brilliant. And then we did the Lowry at Christmas for 3 weeks in Manchester. So we're
That's a
We're
big
looking at the
venue.
Quayside Theatre.
well, we're in the Keys, which
Oh,
is
okay,
a
yeah.
slightly smaller one, but
Yeah,
what
but
a
even
venue!
so,
What
yeah.
a venue!
We're there for 3 weeks.
We've got a lot of shows to sell. So if you've got to come along.
The programme is magnificent because
Isn't
you've had it curated by Gary Morecambe. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Gary and Gail and John, the family have become friends.
Fabulous.
Gary saw us
Well,
in
you
Edinburgh.
can't
Yes.
get a better endorsement than that, can you?
No,
and Gail, we run everything by them because it's not
precious.
just a job.
They're precious.
It's a way of life for us. But
Yeah.
and what, you know, we feel like we're representing Morecambe Wise in lots of ways, and you know, we're very
It's got to be
careful
right.
what we do, and but that program, half of it is curated by Gary Morecambe, and the photographs in there they've never been seen before. It's fantastic.
It is really.
We're just
And it's so cheap.
It's definitely worth looking at. There's a timeline.
Look at that. I mean, it's just
stunning.
It is.
Stunning.
It's stunning. and it's worth coming to see the show just to pick this up, because
Just by the programme.
actually you don't need to see the show, it's all in the programme.
Absolutely.
I've gone off him.
Yeah,
I've gone off him now.
I've not been paid yet.
No, you won't be at this rate either.
Guys, I know you're pressed for time, you've got an evening performance. Can we just step into character for the cameras?
Well, the thing is, you see, we're very close, aren't we? We're very close because we've been...
Get off. And others told me about people like you. I read about you in the Woman's Own. Dear Nurse Drew, you're right to her, don't you?
How do you know?
I'm Nurse Drew.
Are you?
I am, yeah.
You don't... Do you know Marjorie Proops?
I didn't know that, no. How sad. Good Lord, is there no cure?
No, every day in the mirror.
Every day in the mirror?
Yeah.
I don't fancy that.
Neither do I.
No.
What I'd like her is for us to sing something together.
At the same time?
Yes, a duet.
On your own?
No, with you.
The two of us?
Yeah.
Now?
If you like.
Very well, Sunshine.
What shall we sing?
Well, I shall leave it up to you. You are, after all, the musical side of the association, young man.
Yes, I do have a natural bent.
Oh, yes. There you go.
That's great. Thank you very much indeed. Guys, you've got an evening performance to go on to. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to
Pleasure.
come and talk to me. If you want to see Eric and Ern, they're all over the Northwest. They're going nationwide. I tell you what. If you want to see Eric and Ern, they're going nationwide. I would thoroughly recommend. They're going to be in Manchester, Lowry, for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, Christmas.
This is my show.
Oh, God. That's what you think.
They're going to be at the Floral Pavilion in November. I think it's the 16th of November. Just look out for them at a venue near you. You won't be disappointed. Guys, thank you very much indeed.
Bring me sunshine in your smile. Bring me laughter